Brodes Media.
All right, fellas, here we go. All right, a lot to talk about, though, before we head into the action. First, there are now applications that are being sent in to be an intern here at Brodes Media. We're looking for a TikTok producer, a Twitter producer, a web producer, and a video producer. So, Brodes Media interns at gmail.com. Send me your resume there, and we will be picking college course credits are absolutely valid here, so you can get credits for college. Extremely important. Make sure you check that out. On Twitter, at Brodes Media, pinned to the top of my profile, we are giving away an outstanding, beautiful Eagles pullover sweater that I want so damn badly. Unfortunately, I can't win, but you sure have a chance to. Retweet the tweet, follow the account. That's all you have to do. What else is there? Brodesmedia.com. Make sure you're checking out the blogs. I'm blogging a lot more, talking about music, talking about the Phillies, talking about the Birds, you name it. I'm blogging. Check that out. And other than that, Coffee with Brodes, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on Brodes Media YouTube channel. And that's it. That's what we got. So with that being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. I can't wait until Sunday. First off, it's week 2 already. By the time we know it, it'll be week 16. And I'm an asshole for saying that. There's no reason why I should put such a negative tone at the start of the show. So I'm a douche. Anyway, let's get right back into action here. I can't wait to see what the link is like. I can't wait to see Nick Sirianni's expression when he rolls out of that tunnel. Jalen Hurts, DeVonta Smith, all of the fellas pregame getting hype, being electric, knowing people have been shit-faced since 6 a.m., tailgating, just putting down 7 burgers, eating 9 hot dogs, stuffing your face with cheesesteaks. You know it. It's going to happen, and I can't wait. And I actually sense a victory coming from the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not just blowing smoke up everybody's ass here because of how strong and structured they looked against the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of it has to do with where the 49ers are health-wise. Also, keep in mind, there's some juice right now with the Eagles. I think that's going to roll into some momentum with the rising crowd and all of the big fans going bonkers behind them, supporting them all game long. It's going to be a tough, difficult environment for the Niners. And you know what? You can look at how last week's game ended for them. Ultimately, they were up 38-10 and blowing Detroit out. They left their foot off the gas. That's what happened. I don't think any less of this team because the Lions creeped back in. I know that the 49ers are a sound squad, coached very well. I don't know what they're like, though, without some of their starting players. We know about Verrett. Greenlaw, out. He's going to miss some serious time. Mostert, out. But this was the news we got today. Mosley, doubtful. Armstead, questionable. Kinlaw, questionable. Now, I'd imagine we see some of these players, maybe one of them. I don't know how it's all going to shape up, but I do want to emphasize this. If they are playing and their numbers do get called and they are active on game day, if they're 70%, 75%, 80%, advantage still Eagles compared to what the alternative is, which is they could play to max capacity. They could be studs. Now, with that being said, they still have a lot of firepower. George Kittle, hey, how are you? 15 receptions last time. The difference is, though, no Nate Gerry, which is a monster change in the linebacking department, or in the linebacker position, if you will. Nick Bosa, hey, Mailata, welcome to the big dogs. Welcome to the top dogs. Welcome to seeing what lethal talent's like. We just paid him a massive amount of money. There's a big difference between Jarrett and the Atlanta Falcons and the pressure they can put on your offensive line and D4, Nick Bosa, and the explosiveness there. I expect Mailata to have some hiccups because that makes a lot of sense when you see what's on the other side. But what's the consistency factor? You're going to have to put Jalen Hurts in positions to get around that pass rush that's going to be mind-blowing. Get him out of the pocket. Have him moving. And here's a chance to actually torch the secondary that do not have their top guys. You're talking about rookies. You're talking about old veterans that barely have anything left in the tank. But here's where last week and this week it might have to be different in the passing game. Now, Jimmy Kempski of PhillyVoice.com had some of these numbers in his what to look for preview article. All right, so this was last week. Hurts averaged 3.4 completed air yards, meaning his average completed pass was caught 3.4 yards past the line of scrimmage, the shortest average in NFL Week 1. He had an aggressive percentage of 8.6%, meaning that only 8.6% of his passes were thrown to a receiver that had a defender within 1 yard of him. That was the fifth lowest percentage in NFL Week 1. Now, maybe some of that has to do with Nick Sirianni creating space for some of these players. Maybe it has to do with the separation that these players are creating for themselves as well. So I don't know if that's 1,000% fully on a Jalen Hurts, if you will. Maybe that's more targeted around the idea and the concept of the offense, although you could make that argument and tie that together with a lot of these stats. But, just moving along a little bit, I think it's fascinating to hear it. His average air yards to the sticks was minus 6.2, meaning that his average throw was 6.2 yards short of the first down marker. That was the shortest distance in NFL Week 1, and by a fairly wide margin. So I bring that up to you because we're looking at shots downfield. Can you honestly succeed consistently if you're just giving it to your playmakers and allowing them to utilize their speed and work that way? And there's something to that. Yes, that is an element to an offense in the NFL that can help you generate yards where you can move the chains and you can move the sticks. But at some point, there has to be progression. At some point, you have to target their weak spots. Now, Hockenson for the Lions, he had 97 yards, so they were able to have success attacking their tight ends. That's something that's going to be possibly on the radar here. More 12 personnel, Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. Last week, it was a tad over 50% of snaps played for Zach Ertz, in the 70 range for Dallas Goedert, so they did have both of them active on the field. Is that heavily utilized more this time around? Is there something they can target? And how about this? The 49ers lost their defensive coordinator last year, the mastermind defensively, to the New York Jets for their head coaching gig. So what is it now that the 49ers have? What is their concepts? What are the beliefs? Not only are they banged up, but they don't have the same creative mind that was able to be so damn successful in years past. So keep your eye out on that. How about this, though, for the injury front for the Eagles? No Roddy McLeod, which is not surprising. Marcus Epps still questionable with everything that happened with him last game with the concussion protocols. But Landon Dickerson, what's the usage going to be if he's going, if he's getting that nod? I know everybody's thinking he's replacing Isaac Seumalo, play the better talent, or do nothing with him. He sits, he waits. He's in there for a reason. He was mentioned for a reason. I'm just smelling something fishy, that's all. And maybe fishy in a good way. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing or it's necessarily poor. We know about the pressure that this squad can bring. We know how much it can get uncomfortable for a quarterback when Nick Bosa, D. Ford, Armstead, these cats are flying at you. There's something to the tight ends. There's something to Landon. I'm telling you, there's something. There's something. So keep your eyes out on that. And look, last week, it got ugly early. Atlanta was able to sustain some drives, right? And it was problematic. Now, you got a comfortable lead, which forced the Atlanta Falcons to throw the rock a lot more, getting away from Patterson, getting away from Mike Davis, who did lower his shoulder and pound it a bit, right? You do not have the luxury of playing an opponent that you can walk all over if you shoot yourself in the foot. If Deebo Samuel and Kyle Shanahan are creating all these plays where maybe there's a sweep involved, getting the team going one way, and then there's a misdirection the other with a wide open field ahead of you, that can happen early, right? That can happen at any point of the game. But if it does occur, this is a 49ers team that juggernaut can punch in the jaw, and then there it is. Jimmy Garoppolo or not. I don't want to hear that. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo stinks. Kyle Shanahan is effective with this method. His scheme is insane. His scheme is legit. He schemes guys open. He scores a fuck ton of points. They generate. And they didn't even get contributions from Ayuk. That was the storyline all week long in San Francisco. Why didn't he get the time that we probably anticipated him getting? Well, he got called out. So is he going to answer the bell? Will there be a fire lit under his ass? If Kyle Shanahan called him out, he's probably going to implement at some point something to give him the opportunity to prove him wrong. All right, Ayuk, I called you out. Let's see, baby. Let's go. Here's something that should confuse the Eagles' defense. Have at it. Have at it. 189 yards for Deebo Samuel, by the way. Last game. If you're not prepared and detailed early with the tackling, if you're getting shredded and sustained drives are happening, the Falcons stink in the red zone. We saw that last year. And it seems to have a carryover effect. If those field goals turn into touchdowns, the game doesn't play out the same way. Who knows? I can't wait to see Jalen Hurts, though, face another team and face this type of pressure. It's going to be extremely difficult. Let's see him answer the bell. Let's see him pick and choose the right times to utilize his legs. Let's hit DeVonta Smith with a long shot. Let's take a shot downfield. I know. They mentioned that it was part of their plan, but the Atlanta Falcons took it away. I understand that that's what they're saying. But ultimately, you have to figure out ways to get around that. That's something that you have to adapt. You have to adapt to that. It's sort of like with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith got exposed. His talent might not be there, but you got to do better than what you did. With this shot taking downfield, all right, maybe they take it away, this and that. You don't want to just force things, but ultimately, that's your job as a coach. How do we get these shots downfield? How do we generate that over-the-top look? Because consistently throwing intermediate routes, it's going to be tough. Now, last week with Atlanta, why did we feel we had a great opportunity to win that game? It's because of the trenches. It's because of your defensive line and your offensive line. Well, San Francisco's going to tell you we can win that battle against Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, and Jordan Mailata, and Isaac Seumalo, and Brandon Brooks. We feel that strongly about the energy that we have on our defensive line. And quite frankly, they're not wrong with that assumption. That defensive front could be at the top of the damn league. Pittsburgh's up there. There's some other squads up there. But yeah, you know what? We'd feel the same damn way. Just like we feel Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, and our interior linemen mixed with Brandon Graham and some of our edge rushers can make lethal moments occur and can annihilate and wax anyone in their way. The 49ers feel the same way. So the Eagles' offensive line are going to hold up, absolutely, during stretches of this game. But the 49ers will eat as well. What's the percentage rate? What's the big moment? Think of it with the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, what's he doing? He's torching through the Eagles' defense, but there was a defensive stop, and Brandon Graham came up big and clutch in a moment. Who's going to win that trench battle in the moment during the stretch in a big drive? How effective is Miles Sanders going to be in the screen game? Can they utilize their running backs? I bet you, though, the 49ers try and run on this football team. See if they can establish something early. Even though Mostert's not available, they can find anybody with Kyle Shanahan. Mitchell, come on down. It's your time now to cruise through any defensive front. It's amazing. It absolutely is stellar if you think about it. But, yeah, I mean, that's something that I would anticipate the 49ers trying to do is, gain some yards, target that linebacking core, target that second layer, if you will. We know George Kittle had an insane amount of success the last time this team played. Now, Nate Gary is not available for the Eagles, so that does change it. But Alex Singleton, Eric Wilson, still an area to target. And with the safeties, no Rodney McLeod, maybe no Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace getting his number called again. Something to keep your eye out on. There's a lot of keep your eye outs because we're still trying to learn about this. And look, sometimes with the NFL schedule, it's all about timing. You could see a team when they're fully healthy and it's week 5 of the season, very difficult. You could see them in week 2 and there's some problems that occurred in training camp, in preseason that are lingering into the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And there you go. You might have an advantage due to unfortunate circumstances for the opponent. But in terms of not being healthy, that's out of your control. You can only play what's in front of you. Injuries happen in this sport. The reason why I feel a lot better about this game is honestly because of those injuries. They're so crucial. They're so damaging in that secondary. They got a couple key important pieces questionable that had limited practice. They might be playing, but maybe not fully there for you. Might work out in favor of the Eagles. Plus, I think that confidence, that swagger right now, that this team is willing to prove everybody wrong. There's something going on with the culture built. And everyone's there. And they play with, I hate to bring it up because I'm not saying Super Bowl related, right? But if you remember the video at the NFC Championship game, and it was Dreams and Nightmares, Meek Mill, LeGarrette Blount, Corey Clement. They're dancing in the end zone, and they're flexing insanely hard, and they're getting hyped before the game. That's the way that this team walks around right now. That's the attitude that they have. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to earn it because we're coming. We're coming to prove everyone wrong. And the line tells me, even though the Birds are underdogs at home, it's not a 7, 6, 8 point type of spread. You're hanging in the 3 range, which means very doable. It's a tight line. All right. So since we're speaking about betting, it's a great time to tell you about my friends over at BetQL. Do you want to get an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you a best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports and gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player prop bets. There are sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing. Line movements, you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now and download BetQL. Enter the discount code Brodes at payment checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. You can find all the information in the description below. And since we're on the topic here, I do have the sharp money if you're looking at the spread itself, which is Philadelphia Eagles +3. The sharp data tells you, which is the professional bettors, 54% of the bets are coming in on the 49ers, 46 Eagles on the money line. On the spread. For the money line, here's a trend for you. The San Francisco 49ers are 13-4 in road line games while on the road over the last 3 years. This is going more in favor of the Eagles, 64% for the Birds, sharp money, compared to 36% when speaking of the money line. So it gives you all sorts of information like that. You absolutely have to utilize it. It's a no-brainer. If you don't, you're missing out on a fantastic opportunity to cash in some bucks. All right, we absolutely have some anytime hotline calls to get into. Real quickly, though, there might be a 2-quarterback approach, and Jonathan Gannon, this is a tall task for him. We loved what we saw with the zone and the way he switched things up. The secondary pieces played pretty decent. Darius Slay, Steven Nelson against the Falcons, who at one point you recognized they were throwing the ball, right? So your pressure was able to get going. It makes it a little bit easier when you have that comfortable lead. Facing Kyle Shanahan, though, is a true test. Now, Just like anything else this season, I expect to see growing pains. I expect at times to see failure. You might get beat here and there. How do you respond to that happening, right? What do you do to make adjustments? What's halftime like if Kyle Shanahan does sort of expose Jonathan Gannon during moments? Like, that's going to happen. It's inevitable. There will be mistakes, especially when you see an offensive guru on the other side that's so damn creative and he's so spicy with the way that he has his routes and his formations, really opening up his playbook. The alternative, though, is let's say Jonathan Gannon annihilates him. Well, what if at the end of the day, the 49ers struggle insanely to move the rock? They can't get the football downfield. None of their trick plays or their concepts really get anything going, and they're not explosive, and you don't see the standard 49ers offense that we are accustomed to. We go, hold on a second. What do we have here with Jonathan Gannon with all these schemes? And with the difference in what he's throwing their way and how he's keeping them on their heels because it's nonstop different looks. Oh, I'm getting amped. Let's go to the Anytime Hotline here. Let's hear from you. Reactions, or I should say previews, to the game on Sunday afternoon. Here we go.
Win or lose, it is such a pleasure to watch Bryce Harper play the sport.
Well, that is extremely embarrassing. Did I click on the Phillies? From last night? Let's try this again.
Yo, Brodes, it's Carmen from Scranton, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on the Eagles-Niners game on Sunday. To be honest, my dude, I think we can win this. I really do. San Francisco is down their their cornerback, I should say, and their running back. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But point being, I think we're going to win this game on Sunday. I liked what I saw last week against the Falcons, and I think we're going to keep the momentum going. I think DeVonta Smith is going to tear up the Niners secondary, and Jalen Hurts is going to have a field day.
It's very possible due to the circumstances. So they're already down Verrett. Mosley is doubtful, which is their other cornerback. Greenlaw, their linebackers out. Their defensive end, Armstead, and their defensive tackle and Kinlaw are both questionable. Mostert is out of there, so they're all over the map, and they're trying to plug and play the best way that they possibly can. I think it comes down to, and you make fine points with DeVonta Smith, the opportunity is there. They're going to be throwing out just guys. And DeVonta Smith is way too special of a talent to not expose just guys out in that secondary out on the field. Where the 49ers can make up for that, though, is if Nick Bosa is exposing what Jordan Mailata brings to the table, if Lane Johnson gets beat a little bit, if some of these players end up having a difficult day or maybe not even day, but a difficult series or two, there's not enough time and space for the play to fully develop. So it doesn't matter about the just guys being back there because Jalen Hurts doesn't have time for the play to really run its course, right? So when honestly looking at this, though, a lot of the times it's gut feel. What are you thinking? And I hate to always say win, because there's plenty of times throughout a season where I don't feel that's the case. It's just odd knowing what the expectations were this year to now automatically sit here 2 weeks in and it's, oh, yeah, I could see them being 2-0. But I can. I'm not just saying this and spitting random nonsense out. I truly can. There's a demeanor about this team. There's an identity about this Eagles team right now. The fact that this is a home game at Lincoln Financial Field, I think really raises the bar for them emotionally. They can't wait. Just like we can't wait, they can't wait to show us what they have in store. Is there more added pressure? What if there's a couple of 3-and-outs? Now you hear some boos, you hear some chatter, the noise gets louder, it's a little harsher. Is there more pressure on Nick Sirianni to perform at home than on the road? Sure, I would say so. But he doesn't seem overwhelmed. He was speaking today to the media, right, after practice. And you know what I was thinking? This guy seems so calm right now. He's just answering the questions, talking with his hands. Oh, no doubt. Talking with his hands as I had my water bottle in frame there. I don't know if that was there the whole time or if it was just after I took that sip. But here's Nick Sirianni, comfortable as hell. I think he understands at this point We talked about we don't know if he truly understands the difference from Indianapolis and the beat reporters that are happening there compared to when you're in a big market city like Philadelphia. Doesn't seem fazed by it. Doesn't seem phased. And he did allude to something about, having that same energy after wins or losses. And that's something that he wants to make sure that he does when times do occur where maybe it's a little bit uglier, where maybe it's not the smoothest approach as the team moves forward. You stay even. Can't get too high, can't get too low. And I love the boxing round metaphors that they use. Week 1's round 1. In a boxing match, you can win round 1 and lose round 2. You could get knocked out. So it doesn't matter what happened in round 1. It only matters what's coming up next. I love that. Speaking of next, what's next?
What's up, Brodes? So, hey, awesome win by the Phils. I'm still not holding out too much hope.
What's going on here? I got a combination of Phils and Eagles. I apologize. This doesn't happen to me normally. I normally have one folder that says Eagles. Now, what is this? Am I clicking on? I see the timestamp, and then I can tell what the call is about based off of the timestamp. Now, this says Eagles. The problem is it says Eagles reaction. This says new folder. All right, let's try this call. In the same folder.
Holy moly, bros. The Phillies win the...
Okay, so clearly I'm just in the wrong folder. Let's try this one.
What up, Brodes? Man, this is a much definitely needed win.
What
Eagles
is
gets
happening?
A massive win.
Oh, my God. This is a mess. This is a mess. I apologize. I'm just going to keep it as is, to be honest with you. Sometimes I'll be like, I got to cut this out. Nah, not having it today. It's been a long-ass day. It just isn't happening. So I'll go do where I need to go, and then I'll start playing them from there. All right, here we go. Let's hit the next call.
Okay, I think the future of this Eagles team is bright this year, but I'm not sure how many wins I'm going to expect from this team this year now. If they end up winning the first couple games, it's going to get really tough immediately right after that. But I say the next 2 games are must-wins against this upcoming team and against the Cowboys. These next 3 weeks are must-wins if we're going to hope for a playoff run. We shouldn't be talking about playoffs anyway, but we have to win the first 3 games.
I love the call. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in. But I am nowhere even close to breaking down the must-win section and start going into must-win territory and must-win mode, right? That's normally week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Every week you convince yourself, this one's must-win, this one's must-win. None of these are must-win. Now, in terms of your expectations changing, if they do win a couple of games early here in September, then yeah, absolutely. I will naturally start changing my vibe because this team would have showed me something. They would have said, hey, bros, guess what? We have this in our repertoire. You did not see this coming, but it's there. Okay, well, now that I see that it's there, sure, maybe you could do more damage. Sure, maybe you can destroy an opponent I didn't really think you could earlier before we saw it play out in fruition. So, my point is, come on. I mean, there's no such thing as must win in September. Every year, here's Tom Brady starting out slow. The New England Patriots starting out slow. Is this the end of Tom Brady? Now we're hearing him say, I could play till I'm 50 years old. I mean, realistically, when you analyze it, it's not must win. It's really not must win. I could see them winning this game. It's not must win, though. All right, let's go to what happened here. All right, let's go to this one.
All right, Hunter, I'm going to establish this right off the bat. Last week, not a train wreck. So moving on to the 49ers, this game poses some different issues for the Eagles. The 49ers actually do have a pass rush. And when Trey Lance is in there, they have a quarterback that can escape the pass rush from the Eagles. But that being said, I took the Eagles last week, and I'm going to go with my gut again, and I'm going to think that home field might pay dividends here. Eagles 23, 49ers 17. The only thing that worries me really is that we've had the 49ers number as of late, both home and away. The last time we played them in Philly, they beat the snot out of them, but I'll go 23-17 Eagles.
Okay, all day. Give me that all day long. Maybe it just continues, though. Like, hey, there were a lot of injuries last time around, if you remember. So, maybe it's just unfortunate for the 49ers, of course, when they see the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you remember last year when the Eagles played the Niners, it exactly was sort of in this same type of range with the injuries and not being available to play, which hurt the 49ers big time. You mentioned the fans, and that's where, I'm really starting to believe there's going to be that extra advantage by a large margin. I don't know if the 49ers know what's coming. You took away a whole entire year due to COVID-19. You took away a whole entire year of Eagles football to this town. And now that, not that this is shocking, we all understand how important the green is here in the city, right? How much green runs through our bloodstream. But when you experience again for the first time in a bit of time and the Eagles season begins, it's almost a smack in the face and the reality settles in of, holy hell, does this team mean everything to this damn town? It really, really, really does. Not that we forget it. It's just experiencing again for the first month or two. It's that breath of fresh air. It's like, there it is. There it is. And the fact that this entire city will fill up the link and every single damn bar in town and every single damn parking lot prior and every single street in Philadelphia anticipating that 1 o'clock start, you're going to get the edge. Now, talking about it, all these offensive line stuff, because Sean just mentioned the pass rush and what the 49ers can do. They have an offensive line as well. We love Fletch. I need Fletch to get on that stat sheet more. I'm not downplaying what he does. That isn't really relatable on stat sheets, but quite frankly, I still want to see him having tackles. Fletch, let's go. Hargrave, let's go. Will they be able to sustain pressure over and over again? If they start out slow like they did against the Falcons, it might be enough to get hit in the jaw early. And with the 49ers play, maybe you can't fight back as easily. Maybe it's more difficult than you think. And there's a bump along the road. But I'm feeling good. I am. I'm feeling good. I can't believe we got a must-win already. That cracks me the hell up. Before we get out of here, DraftKings, baby. The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving all new players a can't-miss offer for Week 2. Bet just $1 on any NFL game during the first week of the season and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. You heard right. DraftKings is giving all new players $200 in free bets instantly when you place a bet of $1 or more in any Week 2 game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any Week 2 game. That's promo code Brodes to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.